Hey everybody, John here. Now that I've owned Mixcraft for a full year, I thought it was time I update my evaluation. Mixcraft is developed by Acoustica, which is located in sunny California. But don't get them mixed up with Acoustica, the plugin developer, or Acon Digital's Acoustica audio editor, like I did. This was the DAW that I bought the same day that I tried the demo. Its ease of use was pretty impressive. It's got the old typical start screen where you can choose new projects or open your old ones. And you'll see here, there's also project templates. And I found it was really easy to roll my own. If you choose new, you get a nice blank layout. If you open existing projects, it might be a bit slow depending on how busy they are. Preferences is a good place to start, and everything is pretty typical, and I found stuff was easy to find. I wasn't too happy with the audio setup here because it was a bit sparse. But I do like the fact you can choose your default inserted VST instrument, and you can choose the default GM MIDI player. I'd say it's got a better than average hotkey manager. Over time, I found this is a pretty important tool to make life easier as you learn a new DAW. The main layout is nice and clean, and there's the basic toolbar. It'd be nice to see a few more options here for the timeline view, like seeing both the time and beats together, as well as there doesn't seem to be anything like samples or milliseconds. Generally, things are pretty easy to find, but here's an example. Here is this very small and not very obvious master track is how you get at the tempo track. There's a little microscopic plus sign. But anyhow, you can hide all this if it annoys you that much. I found it a little strange that they put the transport module right smack in the middle here. But you can undock it and you can try and put it up top, or you could also maybe try and put it at the bottom, or I guess you could put it on a second monitor. But it's just could have been a little smaller. It might not have been so much in the way. The lower view is also undockable, so you can use two monitors. The Project tab is where you can add metadata and you can keep some notes. The Sound tab is your MIDI or your audio editor. Just be warned though, there's a lot of important stuff here and it's very microscopic, so take time to explore this and find out where these things are. The Mixer tab also has a little sidebar here with some hidden goodies. You might want to tweak the mixer controls. I just didn't think they had a gain control until I found it here. So it was a default that it was disabled. But it is a nice touch that you can customize all this, and it seems that you can also reorder how they are stacked on the channel strip. I would assume this might change the signal flow as well, but I couldn't find any information, so don't quote me on that. The track and the bus meters absolutely suck, because there's no peak and hold. They don't even include a track meter plugin. The library is for all you loopers. Obviously, I'm not one. My library is empty. The convenience store. There's a few freebies here, and they're mostly loops, but I couldn't find the cheesies or the beer. There's a few options for adding different types of tracks, but there's no routing options until you actually insert the track. And there's no options for things like inserting multiple tracks, and there's no automatically having each track being in sequential order, and no auto coloring, and all those wonderful things that Studio One and Waveform do. The instrument tracks are MIDI tracks, but they can have the instrument built in. But they can also be used as just a plain old MIDI data track that can then be sent to either another tracker instrument or externally to hardware. You can even send it to the good old Microsoft GS Wavetable Synth. Took me a while to figure out that to add an effect send, you had to first add a send track. Then you get the send knobs. I thought they were just plain missing. And submix tracks are not really sub-buses, they're track folders. The output track is something a little different, and it can be only sent to your hardware outputs. It can't be sent to the master. This would be handy if you have a fancy interface with a lot of outputs and wanted to do that hardware out-of-the-box mixing. They could also be used as external sends to hardware effects like compressors. You might want to set up your recording mode default in preferences before you do much. I use replace, which in my language equals overdub. Now, Mixcraft has an overdub option, but it's actually, to me, what you would call sound on sound. You can also choose to store each take in a lane. Instrument tracks also take a few mouse clicks to get them going, but at least there's a favorite list here, so that speeds things up to choose your instrument. Mixcraft can open and play GM MIDI files. It comes with acoustic instruments, as well as there's an expanded version here, and then studio drums. Now, there's no fancy GUI for these, but you can get at the patches from the dialog box. This might be the best part. There's some pretty cool included synths. If you go to the website, you'll see a long list of the included instruments. I give it top marks for this alone. There's some really good stuff here. I spent hours just exploring all the presets. And if you're a vintage analog synth freak like me, you're never going to run out of toys to play with. It certainly blows away what you get right now in a lot of other DAWs. Generally, MIDI editing is not bad at all, especially after I customize the hotkeys for the tools. This is actually something I learned makes life way easier in using all these different DAWs. Try and customize your hotkeys for your most used functions so that they're the same in each one of these DAWs. Another thing I didn't notice at first, but then all of a sudden I realized that the piano roll view here, the editor, is white. I hate dark MIDI editors, like a new Sonar. Another thing, and this seems really kind of picky, but I like the fact that in this DAW, that the now time pointer follows my mouse. Some DAWs don't work like that, and it sucks. You have to keep moving your mouse up to the timeline to relocate where the playback head is. So this gets plus 10 just for this one feature alone. Audio to MIDI works great. There's a feature the Cubase wanted me to pay them $800 for. The stem separation feature works fine, it works, but the audio is of the worst quality of all the other stem separation software I tried. But it's not really a problem if what you're going to be doing is just using the stems as a guide to recreating something. Don't expect to use what you separated as an audio track. It will be absolutely dreadful. Mixcraft also includes the free version of Melodyne Essentials. And it's not a demo, but an upgradable, fully licensed version that doesn't expire. Mixcraft not only had all those very cool included synths, it also comes with some really good VST effects. These are the basics that come with the Recording Studio version. And these here are the extras you get with the Pro version. They're mostly freebies that are widely available elsewhere, but having them included in your installation with your DAW, I think, is a huge bonus. And take note, Mixcraft allows you to drag effects between tracks, as well as copying them if you hold down Control. Between the VST instruments and the effects, this is a lot of included goodies. A first-time DAW user will have all they need to get going. Last goodie is that Mixcraft might be the only DAW I know of that has an app that allows you to control the transport from a mobile device. Very cool. Great for recording vocals while you're standing on the other side of the room, getting away from your computer fan noise. And you can add to all this, it is possibly the easiest DAW to learn on the planet. The user manual and the supply tutorials are also very easy to follow. If you're looking for an affordable DAW that's easy to use, this is definitely worth trying out. The demo is really easy to get at. Here's the current pricing, but it often goes on sale for even less. You could even just start at the bottom and then upgrade over time. Okay, I think we kind of covered everything we need to cover for now. And in my next video, we're going to look at waveform. Okay, folks, I hope you found this interesting and informative. And as always, thanks for watching.